Hey everybody, Chad here with Kids Out Mobile Home Outfitters, and in today's video I'm going to tell you and show you how to trim out your exterior window on your manufactured home. This is our in-stock cedar pre-primed trim boards. We stock it in 1x4, 1x6, 1x8, and 1x10 for whatever your project needs are. This window here is going to get some trim around it, and this is the design that matches the rest of the house. But with all manufactured homes, the window sits on top of the siding. And that becomes an issue when you go to put your trim on there, that it can't sit flat. So I'm going to show you the process of making it sit flat on your siding so your trim sits flat and not bumpy lumpy when you go to caulk the corners. So first I'm going to do, I'm going to take some measurements. We're going to measure this window. This window is going to be trimmed out like the rest of the windows. So on this one, they have the top and the bottom as the shortest. So you always measure your shortest side first. And I have 23 3/4 on this small window and 23 3/4. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over the saw. We're going to cut some wood and run it through the table saw also. Stay tuned. All right, so we have our 10-foot 1x4 that we're going to be using today. First thing you want to do is get your safety glasses. And we're at the chop saw. And we're going to square up the end to make sure that the factory cut is nice and square. We cut that, and I got a measurement, 30, cut that guy, 22 of them. All right, now we're gonna go over to our table saw. All right, we're at the table saw here, and the final look of what we want it to look like is something similar to this. And what I have the table saw set at is 1 1/4 inches, which is just a little bit more than the nailing flange. You can go 1 3/8. So the nailing flange is gonna sit in this area here. And then I have the table saw just clear of the guard here. So when we run it across, we can snap it out. And this much notch out will be enough for our nailing flange. So these are the first two. Let's run these through. Now that we got it notched out, we're going to take, and if you set it up just right, you should be able to just pop it off. You can clean it up with a knife. You can use that 5-in-1 if you want to flick off the last bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, because this is back behind it. You just gotta have enough room for your nailing flange to sit flat. So we got one. All right, so we got our tops and sides. Let's go install. So we're back here at the window. We got our trim. Now you want to test fit it. These are our top pieces. And the whole goal with this is to get this trim to sit flat. So with the notch out there, you can see how it sits flat. If I were to use this as an example, without the notch out, you have that. So by taking the time to run it through the table saw real quickly, you can give yourself a nice finished look. When your two boards meet, you have a flat transition there. If you didn't notch it out, this is how wonky it would look. So just by taking a little bit of time here, you improve the look of your corners while also doing 90s. All right, so let's install. All right, that's the final look. That is one way of mini to trim out your windows on a manufactured home. You can do the top longer than the sides. You can do 45s. Ultimately, it will not sit flat unless you run it through the table saw and take that out. All right, your trim's installed, and your final step before you paint is you got to seal it. We sell Extra Bond 9500. It is a paintable sealant, and recommendation is always to caulk around the outside of the trim on 3 sides, and you can leave the bottom uncaulked, and that is if moisture somehow were to get there, it can get out and it's not trapped. If it's a high window and you don't like the look, then you could always caulk the bottom. On this window, it has a little bit of an overhang, so you don't need to caulk next to the window, but you definitely want to caulk your nail heads and the outside here in the Pacific Northwest. So let's get after it. All right, we're caulked up. A couple pointers I'd like to point out. I like to go both directions when wiping, because the grain will grab it one way compared to the other, and you'll get a lot better flow of your caulk job. And then when you're caulking your nail heads, try not to go against the grain, go with the grain, so that when you paint, it'll blend in a little bit better. So that is how you install trim on a manufactured home with a window that's installed on top of the siding. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more, and always check us out online at kitsoutmobilehomeoutfitters.com, and have a great day.